For the Golden State Warriors, 2021 was supposed to be the year in which their dynasty would make a comeback to the top of the Western Conference and reclaim its spot as one of the best teams in the league. But unfortunately, their chance to compete for a fourth championship was taken away before the start of the season. The front office couldn't find a convincing trade offer for the second pick in the draft, and then moments before selecting James Wiseman, they learned that Klay Thompson would be unavailable for a second consecutive season after tearing his right Achilles. The news was a devastating blow to the team's aspirations, and the expectations heading into the season immediately went down. As a result, the focus shifted from the team as a whole to its best player, Steph Curry, and whether he would be able to carry the Warriors throughout the season. So far, the results have been mixed, but the point guard has been playing some of the best basketball of his career. So let's take a look at how things have been working for him and Golden State. After making 5 straight finals appearances from 2015 to 2019 and being cataloged as one of the most dominant teams in league history, the Warriors went through one of the fastest and most unexpected turnarounds in recent memory. They lost several key pieces in the summer of 2019, including Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, and Kevin Durant. Likewise, Klay Thompson was ruled out for the season after tearing his ACL. Curry made only 5 appearances after suffering a broken hand. With most of their best players either gone or unavailable, their play as a team took several steps back, and it didn't take long before losses started to pile up. When everything was said and done, the Warriors finished with the worst record in the league and received the second pick in the draft as a result. At first, it looked like the pick would be traded away in a deal that could bring additional help to the team, but the Warriors decided the best would be to use it to select Wiseman. That way, they'd be able to start building for the future while also bringing help at the center position. With James and Andrew Wiggins on board, the Warriors expected to have a roster capable of competing with the top teams in the West once again. However, their excitement didn't last long as they learned about the severity of Thompson's injury the day after the draft. Looking to compensate for Klay's loss, the team acquired Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Phoenix Suns. He and Wiggins were expected to become the team's second and third scoring options behind Curry. While it was clear neither of them would be able to play like Thompson, their skill set made them valuable assets for the team. So, with the roster set, the Warriors headed into the season aware they would face many challenges and a lot of criticism along the way. However, things looked worse than expected during their first few games. Golden State started the season on the receiving end of a blowout at the hands of both the Nets and the Bucks. Then they completed their December schedule by picking a pair of hard-fought wins against the Bulls and Pistons, 2 teams that haven't been too good over the last few years. In those 4 games, both Wiggins and Oubre looked lost at times. And Kelly in particular was looking completely out of rhythm as he scored in double digits only once and shot a combined 1 from 21 from behind the three-point line. But Curry provided a silver lining. The former MVP had a slow start in his first 2 games, and it was no coincidence the Warriors never had a chance to beat either Brooklyn or Milwaukee. But he started heating up in his 3rd game, and his performance allowed the team to finish 2020 with an even record. However, after a loss against Portland in which he shot 33% from long range, it started to look like the Warriors wouldn't be able to compete against good teams, and people began questioning Curry's ability to carry his team as he did earlier in his career. But then, just like Jordan, he took that personally. The point guard scored a career-high 62 points in the second game against the Trailblazers, and his team got an easy win. His performance included 8 three-pointers, a career-high 18 made free throws, and a few highlights for the history books. His 62 points are the most scored by a Warrior since 1974. He became the second oldest player to score at least 60 points behind Kobe Bryant, and also the first player since 1977 to put up over 30 points in each half of a game. But his performance would probably have meant nothing if he and the Warriors weren't able to keep up the pace. So he made sure his team wouldn't take the foot off the gas. He followed his career night with a 30-point performance that helped Golden State blow Sacramento out. And if it wasn't for a tweaked ankle, he probably would have kept scoring at a high level against the Clippers. However, he made up for it in the second game against LA, putting up 38 points as he led the Warriors to a comeback win by making 9 three-pointers and 11 assists. Following that result, the team completed its first 9 games, and that means we can start making some conclusions about the way they've been playing so far and how Curry has been making an impact in his 12th season. First and foremost, Steph's shooting has remained as good as ever, and that's been a huge positive for the team. With Oubre and Wiggins in place of Thompson and Kevin Durant, Curry has become the only reliable volume shooter from long range. In other words, without having to worry about other elite shooters, opposing teams can focus on playing strong defense against Curry most of the time, and especially from behind the line. But that hasn't stopped him from scoring. Instead, it's opened up opportunities for the rest of his teammates. Since their current roster is not well equipped to run the motion offense they've employed since Kerr became the head coach, the Warriors have had to make adjustments to the way they play. Now, instead of reading and reacting, the offense has been made simpler. And once again, Curry has been at the center of it all. The team has had to adopt more of the pick and roll and isolation plays that Curry has preferred to ignore over the last few years. As a result, instead of seeing everyone in constant movement, we're now seeing more of Curry playing in isolation or running pick and roll plays with either Green or Wiseman. But despite having to play a little different than in previous years, the point guard has looked more aggressive than ever. In fact, even though he's been scoring off assists far less than in his last full season, he's been averaging the most drives per game in his career. He's also been averaging a career high in his usage rate, though that comes as no surprise. After all, everyone was aware he would need to take matters into his own hands to give his team a chance to win games. And so far, that's exactly what's happened. To say that the Warriors go as Curry goes would be an understatement. While the team may have the potential to eventually start playing better, so far the truth is they've only played well when their point guard has played well. During the first 3 weeks of the season, the Warriors have won every game in which the former MVP has scored at least 30 points, but they've been defeated by at least 25 points in 3 of the 4 games in which he scored under 30. So does that mean Curry will have to average at least 30 points per game and play like he was James Harden so the Warriors can win games? While it may not be ideal, it's looked like that's the case during the first 9 games. So far, neither Wiggins nor Oubre has looked like a reliable option to score at least 20 points per game and take part of the burden away from Steph. And while they could try to share the load evenly, they still haven't been able to play to their best. Andrew's been the best among the two. He's been putting decent numbers and has been scoring at least 15 points during the last 7 games, including a 27-point performance against Detroit. As the games have progressed, he's been able to get more comfortable with the offense, so there's a chance he might be able to take a step forward in a few months. On the other hand, Kelly has had a terrible start, and because of that, it's hard to see him going anywhere but up. He's only made 6 out of 45 three-pointers so far, and his scoring from the rest of the court hasn't looked good either. It may be a matter of time before he's able to find his rhythm with the new system and start playing like his old self. But if he doesn't show improvement soon, Coach Kerr will need to look for different ways to get him going offensively, or else the front office may start looking at trading options for him. In any case, both players were brought to the team for their ability to score the basket. And if the team hopes to keep winning games, one of them will have to take a step forward sooner rather than later. That's not to say Curry wouldn't be able to carry the team on his own. As a matter of fact, that's just what he's been doing so far. But he's already 32, and the team should start looking for ways to extend the career of its franchise player for as long as possible. And relying on him to score over 30 points per game doesn't seem to help that goal. But regardless of whether he starts getting more help or not, Steph has started the season by reminding everyone why he's the best point guard in the league. He's managed to guide a new roster to a decent start despite all of the doubts, and he's done it by putting together a series of outstanding performances. All in all, it may be still too early to tell whether the Warriors will become a solid playoff team or if they'll end up missing the postseason all along. However, one thing is clear, this team will go as far as Curry can take them. The 2-time MVP knows his team is no longer considered a contender by a lot of people. He also knows many people are questioning his ability to guide a team that's lacking an all-star partner. He will continue listening to all the criticism, and as long as he's healthy, he will continue to prove doubters wrong. But now, what are your expectations for the 2021 Golden State Warriors? Do you believe Curry will be able to carry them to the playoffs? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.